house. So welcome back to Favorite Friday. For this case, for the last case for this week, we're going back to the United Kingdom. This one case is actually different because I think this is the first serial killer that I've covered out of the United Kingdom, and apparently this has been pretty well known over in the U.S. and I have to imagine the United Kingdom where our story takes place. Peterborough, to be specific. If anybody from Peterborough or even the United Kingdom in general is watching this and you knew of our killer and the victims, like always, let me know. As sources down below as always. So with that being said, I'm gonna quit my rambling and let's go and get started. So Joanna Christine Dennehy, she was born on August 29th, 1982. Her father had worked in security while her mother was a shopkeeper. So it said that she would actually start doing alcohol as a teen. Didn't specify what age, but just know at least started at 13, because that's when most people consider the teenage years to start. So when she's 15 years old, apparently she would move out and start dating this 20-year-old guy by the name of John Schrader. He would come out and say that, listen, we didn't start messing around sexually till at least 16, because apparently the age of consent is 16. And a lot of people, including myself, don't believe that. So of course, take that as what you will. Her and John would go on to have 2 kids. Whenever she was pregnant, she would drop the drugs and the drinks throughout her entire pregnancy. Pretty much like stay sober, no drugs, nothing like that. And then as soon as the babies pop out, for both of them, relapse. It's like immediate relapse. But the baby ain't a couple hours old, you know it starts. So then, of course, her parents would actually want to see the grandchildren, as many grandparents would. And Joanna would actually tell them, look, if you want to see your grandkids, you want to pay me. So then Joanna would apparently actually tell the friends that she had that she actually never wanted children in the first place. She apparently would cheat on John multiple times and be physically abusive to him. He finally left when apparently she threw a knife at him and said that she could kill someone. So out of fear for his life and his children's life, he left with the 2 children that he had with her, and apparently this made her homeless. So she starts stealing and doing prostitution to fund her habits, because like you can imagine, like I said, she's still doing the drug. Apparently she would serve several short jail sentences in 2012, and even had a psychological. Here she is diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder, and she was, of course, prescribed medication. So then it said in 2013, she would meet this man by the name of Kevin Lee, who was 48. He was married and was a father, believed to be of 2 or 3. Sources are varying. And she would tell him that, look, I do have a criminal record, but it's because my father had raped me when I was younger, and I just got out for serving 13 years for it. Now, most people, depending on who you ask, of course, they are going to say that murder is not okay. But if you are murdering to defend yourself in a case, and especially in a case like that, they would, of course, have sympathy for you. And as you can imagine, Kevin, of course, did have sympathy for her. But as you can imagine, this is also everything that she just told him about the father thing is a lie. This man is very much alive. So Kevin apparently would even pay Joanna's rent, and apparently the 2 of them started an affair. Remember, Kevin's married, so he's technically having an affair with Joanna. So then kind of a little bit scary fact about Joanna. Apparently Joanna liked watching violent porn, and apparently would actually cut herself during sex. Apparently her and this guy who's like 7 feet tall, who would let her come to the story, they basically go to the store, to door to door, and basically go collect rent from people who were late, because apparently this Kevin guy, he was leasing out to people who just got out of jail or felons. And basically, felons over here in America, it's hard for you to get a job at a decent place to live because of your criminal status, right? And so Kevin basically, it was kind of like a place for you to start over if you had a criminal status. So of course they were taking advantage of this. Not like they, but there were people who did not want to pay their rent, even though literally your options were limited, again, because of your criminal record. So Joanne is big old little 7-foot dude. They go over and basically try to bully you into paying your rent, or there were going to be issues. So then, of course, she would stop taking the medication, thinking, hey, well, life's going good so far, and without the medication, so I'm just going to stop taking them. So, of course, you imagine that's dangerous as hell. So then, on one of the fateful days of March 9th, 2016, there was a man by the name of Lucas, who was 31, and he was a Polish citizen. And Joanna apparently lures him over to an abandoned property with some. So then he gets there, she proceeds to stab him to death, and then leaves him in a trash can for 2 days. And apparently she would also actually show a 14-year-old girl the body, which you can imagine that might have been very terrifying for her. So then she gets help with a man by the name of Gary Stretch, but people call him Stretch because this is the 7-foot man I mentioned earlier. So then she calls Kevin saying that, look, somebody died on your property, but she's not going to detail about how somebody died. So then Kevin actually sources are also varying this. Sources are saying he bought the rental car and sent it over to her, or he gave her the money so she can go get the rental car. So then on March 29th, Joanna would go over to someone by the name of John Chapman's house, and she stabs him once in the neck, twice in the heart, and 3 times in the chest. And this is all done with a pocket knife. Apparently, there's a man by the name of Leslie Land who's in the next room. And apparently he actually, I guess, was woken up and shown the body. And this man actually has the audacity to take a picture of John's deceased body. So the next day, Joanna actually kills Kevin. Yes, this same Kevin who's over here helping her. She's over here helping be the old security guard she had an affair with. She kills him. She puts him in a black sequin dress. Calls Gary. She then has the bodies of John and Gary. Oh my God. The bodies of John and Kevin dumped into a ditch in Peterborough. Why his name is the Peterborough Ditch Murders? Because two of the victims' bodies were found in Peterborough pretty much the same day. And then there are sources saying that apparently there was a sex toy pretty much put up Kevin's ass as a form of humiliation to try to make it sound like he was secretly gay or something. Then they take Kevin's car to a nearby farm and burn it. I guess to like dispose of that because we don't need to be seen in a dead man's car. And so then, of course, Joanna and Gary, they proceed to flee town, committing robberies because obviously you can only live off so much at a time. So we got to continually commit robberies in order to be able to live on the run as long as possible. So then there was a man by the name of Mark that was with him, but of course police determined that apparently he wasn't a suspect and was actually believed to be a hostage. But luckily, of course, before you ask, Mark did in fact survive. So then unfortunately on April 2nd in Hertford, if that's how you pronounce it right, Joanna apparently would see two older men walking their dogs. They weren't walking them together. These are two separate men who far we know that they did not know each other. Their names were Robin Rensda, 63, and John Rogers, 56. Now, of course, she goes up to both of them and stabs them. Of course, her being young and them being at least 6 and 63, she also is going to win against them. She stabs both of them, and luckily, of course, they both do survive. She would have, however, unfortunately, still John's dog, but John's dog, from what it seems like, John was reconnected with his dog, so she didn't think there's a dog. So then Joanna soon after we get arrested, and she admitted that I want to kill 9 people just like Bonnie and Clyde did. And then, of course, you can imagine she's over getting asked, like, why are you over trying to kill people? And, why did you kill the people that or have you even confirmed you killed? And she said that she did for the fun. So then she goes on and says, I killed my father, I killed 2 people in a house fire, and I've killed 2 people in a hit and run. As of the time of recording this video, her father apparently is confirmed to be alive, and she's actually known to be a liar. So then, of course, this is when the bodies of Kevin and John, this is when their bodies are found. Okay, after the 2 little attempted murders. So I should have clarified that. And then apparently in November, Joanna is diagnosed with psychopathic, borderline, and antisocial personality disorder. And then apparently she was also diagnosed with these two words, one of which is masochism. I don't know how to say the first one, so I'm just going to put it on the screen. But basically, she gets sexual pleasure out of humiliating other people. So then luckily it's actually said that someone found her diary. And so in the diary, she actually had put in an escape plan. Because even though she was a serial killer, she wasn't putting in like a maximum prison. I guess she was putting in like a lower level security prison. And so in the plan, it said that she was planning on taking out a guard, knocking him out, or killing him, whichever one seemed easier for her, I guess. Cutting off one of his fingers and using that finger to fool the fingerprint system. Because I guess you can only like open certain doors if you work there. So if I fool the system, that can get me out. And so because they're able to find this letter in time before she was able to do that, she's put into solitary confinement for 2 years. So then, of course, she tries to say this is a violation of her human rights and actually had the audacity to try to sue, but of course, luckily she lost. Remember the 2 men, Leslie and Gary? Well, Leslie was charged with accessory, so I guess taking pictures and not mentioning that, you saw a dead body. And so he was sentenced to 14 years. Whereas Gary, being the accessory to all the murders and the getaway, he gets sentenced to life with a minimum of 19 years. So then on February 8th, 2014, Joanna apparently would actually apologize for the attempted murders, but not the actual people that she killed. Apparently, and also she was sentenced to life. And then apparently in 2018, Joanna apparently actually tried to commit suicide with a cellmate that she was dating as part of a suicide pact. And then they even had tried to get married and have the government pay for it themselves. And so then at one point, doesn't specify when, but apparently, remember, if anybody knows the UK, there's another serial killer by the name of Rose West, who killed young girls with her husband Fred West, who is no longer with us. Rose West apparently was in the same prison as Joanna, and so apparently Joanna had threatened to kill Rose on multiple occasions, and Rose had gotten so scared for her life that she had asked to be transferred to a new prison, and apparently she was successful. And with the stuff I read about Rose West, if you over here scaring her, that shows how scary Joanna is in prison. So with that being said, do you think that Joanna definitely should be staying in prison for her life, as most people do? Where do you think that Joanna's life had started to be her downfall? Do you think her father may have done anything to her? Because you were telling all the people, oh, he's dead. I feel like there's at least some resentment with your father, wherever it may be. Um, for whatever reason. I mean, we don't even know yet because, again, I guess as far as I know, she hasn't come out with any interviews. And so, with that being said, definitely give your thoughts down below. Like I said, you don't need the victims, Joanna herself. Let me give your give the experience. You know, this is an open platform. And so, with that being said, I cover fifth females 3 times a week. Subscribe for more fifth females. I'll see you guys next one. Bye.